Welcome to year 3 of your 18 Now What? Welcome back to your 18 Now What? Before we jump into anything new, I want to take a moment, just a real moment, to acknowledge something important. If you're listening to this, you're here at the start of year 3 of this podcast, and that matters. Whether you've been listening since the very first episode, or you just press play today because something in your life feels uncertain, heavy, or unfinished, you didn't end up here by accident. Our podcast reaches listeners in 26 countries worldwide. So thank you. I'm Dr. Catherine Gilstein, and I'm looking forward to empowering you with economic empowerment, financial literacy, and this podcast was created for the moments in life when you quietly think, why does everyone else seem to know what they're doing and I don't? When I started Your 18 Now What, it wasn't because I had all the answers. It was because I kept seeing young people stepping into adulthood carrying pressure, but without preparation. So we prepare students to pass tests, we prepare them to meet expectations, but we rarely prepare them for uncertainty, disappointment, decision making, or self doubt. No one teaches you how to sit with the fear of choosing the wrong path. No one teaches you how to recover when confidence cracks. No one teaches you how to trust yourself when the timeline you imagine quietly falls apart. This podcast exists because those moments deserve language and guidance. So, looking back over the past 2 years, this space has grown in ways I've never expected. It grew from conversations about life skills into something deeper. Conversations about identity, about pressure, money, purpose, confidence, and what it actually feels like to grow up and take responsibility, have accountability. It grew into messages from students who felt seen for the first time, from parents who realized their kids weren't failing, that they were just unprepared, from educators who wanted better tools, better conversations, and better outcomes. And somewhere along the way, the podcast stopped being about having it figured out and started being more about learning how to keep going when you don't have it figured out. So, year 3 isn't about reinvention, it's about depth. This year, we're slowing down enough to talk about the things people usually rush past. We're talking about the pressure to choose a path before you understand yourself, the quiet shame that comes with changing your mind because that's okay, the fear of falling behind. You're not falling behind, you're exactly where you're supposed to be, the exhaustion of trying to appear confident while fearing uncertain inside. Because adulthood isn't a finish line, it's a series of adjustments. So, year 3 is about building the emotional and practical skills that help you navigate those adjustments with clarity instead of panic, and self trust instead of comparison. One thing that's staying this year, because it matters, is conversations with people who've lived it, their lived experiences. Interviews have always been a part of this podcast, not because success stories are impressive, but because perspective is grounding. You can see where other people were, what they did, what they changed, how they moved forward. This year, the interviews won't be about perfect timelines or overnight wins. They'll be about the moments in between, the pivots, the missteps, the uncertainty, and the lessons that only come after things don't go as we originally planned. So you're going to hear from people who changed directions later than they expected, learned skills the hard way, people who made decisions without guarantees, and people who figured things out while already in motion. Not because they had it all together, but because they didn't. These interviews are meant to remind you that clarity usually comes after action, not before it. That most people you admire once, they felt unsure too. And that growth rarely looks the way we imagine it will. It's not a linear path. I want these conversations to feel less like advice and more like permission. Permission to take longer than planned to do what you want to do. Permission to ask better questions, permission to redefine what success is for you, and permission to trust that your path doesn't need to look like anyone else's. If you ever listen to an interview on this show and think, oh, maybe I'm not behind after all, then it's doing exactly what it's meant to do. Reach out to me. Let me know it resonates. And if you're listening and thinking, I have a story or I know someone who should be part of this conversation, keep that thought. Let me know. This podcast has always grown through community, and year 3 will be no different. If you fall behind or if you feel behind, if you're listening to this and thinking I should be further along by now, I want you to hear this clearly. You are not late. You are learning. We are all learning every day. And learning takes time, especially when no one handed you the full playbook. This podcast is here to remind you that confusion isn't failure. Pausing isn't quitting. And needing guidance doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're paying attention. So this space is for so many people. It's for students trying to make sense of adulthood. It's for young adults navigating real responsibilities for the first time. It's for parents and educators who want to support without being controlling. And it's for anyone who feels like life didn't come with enough context. If you ever thought, I wish somebody had said this sooner, then this podcast is for you. So welcome to year 3 of your 18 Now What? This year, we're not rushing answers. We're asking better questions. We're building skills that last longer than motivation. If this podcast has walked with you through uncertainty before, thank you for trusting it again. And if this is your first episode, welcome. There's definitely room for you here. Take what you need, come back when you feel unsure, and remember, you don't need to have life figured out to move forward. Life begins now. Let's begin year 3 together. Visit my website, your18nowwhat.com, and drop me a line. Send a question or a comment. It's also a place to order a signed copy of my book, and any questions received will be responded to by either email or addressed on the next podcast. Remember, be invaluable for what you share, not what you know. See you next time on Your 18 Now What, where you can always find the latest podcast episode to listen to, follow, share, and subscribe. Thanks for joining me. I appreciate you.